So this Sunday, Liverpool are playing Man United in a top-of-the-table clash. And joining me on the line for a quick chat is Kevin Ashford from United Stand. Kevin, welcome. Can you give us, obviously we Liverpool fans will be watching this, so we follow Liverpool, give us a little inkling or just give us a little summary of your form at the moment, because it's been pretty remarkable, hasn't it? I think is it 9 wins out of 11 games?
Mm-hmm. It's been an interesting season as a Man United fan. One thing I would say is I don't think we've been amazing, but yet we find ourselves at the top of the table. We've seen out games this season, especially over the Christmas period, that for me, we would not have seen out last season.
Yeah.
Burnley the other night, classic example. That would have been 0-0 last season. I think a lot of players have stepped up this season. I don't want to get carried away, talking about a title, and you'll know yourself last year, especially Liverpool fans, you get to a point where you get a bit excited. You just need to rein it in a bit.
Burnt by the past, don't you?
Exactly.
Yeah.
But the thing is with Manchester United, I mean, a lot of them players haven't got experience of being in a title challenge, which is a bit worrying. But for the first time since Sir Alex Ferguson was in charge, Manchester United are top of the league in January. So if you'd have asked me that at the start of the season and said, come January, you're going to be sitting top of the league by 3 points going to Anfield, it's an old football cliche, but I would have took your hand off.
Yeah, you could, yeah. Yeah, totally. And the season as a whole, you said I think it's been a challenging season. And someone said to me yesterday that it's not an achievement for us to be top of this league. And I said, well, I think it's quite the opposite. The challenges that everyone's had, it's survival of the fittest. And at the moment, you're the fittest.
Yeah. I think having no fans in the ground is playing a massive part in it. And it's one thing about Sunday's game, which I'm sure obviously yourself and any Liverpool fan watching will be absolutely gutted about. The fact that they cannot go to Anfield, scream and shout at Manchester United for, 90 minutes and just let it out the system. But, the welcome that Man United usually get to Anfield, the hostility of arriving in the coach, we're not going to have that. And we've seen a lot of funny games this season. Let's not forget, Man United got beat by Tottenham 6-1. On the same day, Liverpool were beaten by Aston Villa 7-2. It's an absolute roller coaster.
I'd forgotten you got beat
season.
6-1 by Tottenham. Completely forgot. Yeah,
same day that.
Now,
Liverpool were on after it. I was in a pub watching that. I thought I'll drown my sorrows, see how Liverpool get on. I couldn't believe it. It was like...
But you were bladdered by the end of the night.
I was. It was a long night.
So, looking at from your point of view, it's always good for us to get your perspective on how we're playing at the moment. So what have you seen in ours? How do you assess our season?
For me, looking at the Van Dijk injury, I always thought that was going to be huge. I think looking in as a Man United fan, when obviously that injury occurred at Goodison Park, I kind of looked and thought, this is a massive blow for Liverpool and their season. For me, he's been instrumental in Liverpool winning the Champions League and the Premier League. Best central defender on the planet, without a shadow of a doubt. Yeah. Anybody would have him, in the team. And for me, he's probably the first name on your team sheet week in, week out. You know exactly what you're going to get from him. But looking in at Liverpool, I would say, obviously, because of that, defensively, that they are not what they were last season. And what is it, the last 3 games that I've seen of them, drop points at West Brom, I think that was a huge blow, especially at Anfield. And I don't know, there's just doesn't seem to be something quite clicking with Liverpool at the minute. But at the same time, you look at it and think, well, they're second in the table.
Yeah.
They're still ahead of Man City. City have got a game in hand. They must be doing something right. The one thing I will say, and I don't want to sort of praise Liverpool too much or anything, but Jurgen Klopp, I mean, what a manager. Again, as a Man United fan looking, I mean, obviously I can say, I hate him and that, but put rivalry aside for 1 minute. The injuries that Liverpool have had this season, for Jurgen Klopp to be able to look into them reserves, cherry pick a player and play him in the same position and still get away with it, getting a performance playing the Liverpool way, is testament to the way that Jurgen Klopp has rebuilt Liverpool.
Well, you were talking about managers. Let's have a chat about yours. He's had, I mean, he's riding high at the moment, but he's had a rocky rise, and he's built very steadily. He's been built very meticulously. I think it's been a slow curve, but you're now sort of up there. And I'm sure at times Man United fans were thinking, "Nah, got to get rid of him," especially when you've got Pochettino sat on his arse doing nothing. Were you one of those people, or have you always backed him and you've always seen that he was doing the right things?
Well, anybody that's listened to me or even watched my own YouTube channel will know that I've always said, give him time, give him transfer windows. We've got so much deadwood at United that he's trying to get rid of. You have to give him a chance because you have to let him get his own players in. You'll know yourself, Jurgen Klopp, first couple of years, it was a bit of a rocky ride. I'm sure there was Liverpool fans questioning him at some stage saying, is he the right man? What's he doing? I'm not for 1 minute comparing Solskjaer to Klopp, but Solskjaer, the United fan base, certain elements of it can be so annoying because it is literally week in, week out. It's Ollie in, Ollie out, shake it all about, whatever. It's so annoying. I mean, for me, it's just like, I know he's a club legend and that, and you can buy into the emotion of it, but you just have to get behind the manager. We're sitting top of the Premier League at the minute. There's still people going on and saying he's not good enough. He's a PE teacher. He plays, his tactics.
Really unfair.
Yeah, tactically, he's really. Burnley again the other night is a classic example. He's changed his team. He knew physically wise he had to pick a team to face up to them. Cavani got the shit knocked out of him, while he was playing. And United stood up to that and rode it out. For me, Solskjaer, he needs to take credit. But that's a good point that you made about Pochettino. I'm glad that he's gone to PSG because that's gone now. That ship has sailed.
Yeah.
I remember before we played Everton at Goodison Park and the vultures were circling around Old Trafford. It was, if they get beat, Solskjaer's gone. That's Pochettino had done his Monday night football thing, put himself in the shop window. And United, being typical United, got a great 3-1 result. And you just, from a United perspective, I've always been behind him. Just give him more time. Let's see where the season brings us. But again, a lot of people will look and say they're the nearly men. We've lost 4 semi-finals under him. But again, touching on Liverpool and Klopp, didn't he sort of lose a few semi-finals, didn't he, before he actually, before he cracked it? And then, it's that winning mentality then. It's the reason, actually, that I was disappointed we went out the Carabao Cup. I don't look at it as being a prestigious cup, but this team just needs to win something. And then it's a springboard, isn't it?
Springboard, can't it? Yeah. Interesting. My brother-in-law, I was chatting to him just over Christmas, and he said to me, and it's probably, his opinion might have changed now, I'm not sure, but he said to me that we're where you were just before you signed Van Dijk. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, I could understand that. Yeah, I think it makes sense.
Yeah, I think his point was we're one player away from one central defender, a world-class central, but away from being nearly the finished article. And I thought that was interesting, and it made sense to me as well. Now since then, you're now top of the league, so it may well be that you're ahead of that curve.
There's one player in particular that's come back to Manchester United at the minute, and for us, it's almost like signing a new player, and that's Eric Bailly.
I thought you were going to say that.
Yeah. Now we got done over buying Harry Maguire purely because Liverpool spent so much on Van Dijk, which is fair enough. Yeah. There's a player sat there on a big contract. You want him. Southampton, the same, sat back. Well, no, we're not selling him to you. And then we'll name your price, and then you've got to sell him, but you get as much as you can.
Yeah.
Brendan Rodgers did it with Harry Maguire, so we had to pay that. But again, from a United perspective, Lindelof and Harry Maguire just breed uncertainty. We watch them week in, week out, and you're like, you do not know what's going on. Luckily for United, Eric Bailly's come back, and he's more of a captain than what Harry Maguire will ever be. I mean, the other night at Burnley, Eric Bailly was telling Harry Maguire where to be, what to do. He's almost talking him through games, but I think they complement each other really well, the style of play, because Bailly's got the pace, whereas Maguire will sit back, sort of clean up. They both can good on the ball, bring the ball out of play.
No, completely. Who were your standout players at the moment?
standout players at the minute over Christmas, definitely Eric Bailly. Again, if there's any injury to him, which he is like made of glass, we've just got to wrap him up in cotton wool, you know, and hopefully he's ready for Anfield. Obviously, Bruno Fernandes has been unbelievable. I can't remember a player since the likes of Eric Cantona coming into Man United and making that, And remember, we weren't a great team until Fernandes walked in. I think a few teams have looked at it and thought, if you cut out Bruno Fernandes, United are nothing. I think that was, again, testament to the way that Man City knocked us out the Carabao Cup. Fernandes was non-existent. A lot of United fans would have said, oh, he was shit. He wasn't shit. It was just that City had two men on him all the time. It's easier said than done, really, cut Fernandes out. But this is the other thing that I was going to say, not a personal favourite of mine. I've had a lot to say about Paul Pogba in the past. Can't understand how he plays for France midweek, looks world-class, comes back to United. Recently, Pogba has been sensational. And it's good because Bruno, we've had it all on him, but he's had 2 games now where no assists, no goals by his high standards, but Paul Pogba's stepped in and he stepped up and took the game by the scruff of his neck. So long may that continue. It's been a big thing for United fans saying, could Bruno and Pogba play in the first team? And over the last few games, I think they've proved they can.
What injuries have you got? What selection headaches have you got?
Lindelof might be injured. Again, without sounding really, really crass, that might not be a bad thing because I know Solskjaer would probably look at trying to get him back into that team. For me, he shouldn't be near it whilst Eric Bailly's fit. Martial come off against Burnley, which looked like a bit of a hamstring or a pull. I don't think we'll know probably until maybe the manager's press conference Friday how that one's going to go. So apart from that, Cavani is back in business. I think he's been a brilliant bit of business, really.
So looking at your lineup then, you're obviously De Gea in goal. You're looking at Bailly, Maguire. Luke Shaw, Wan-Bissaka. Matic, Pogba, Fernandes, Rashford, Cavani.
I go with Cavani, definitely.
And would it be Greenwood or...
Did you say Rashford then?
I did say Rashford, So would it be Greenwood?
I suppose it depends on Martial. Usually it'd be Martial, Rashford, each side. Again, with the thing that Solskjaer's done well is to mix up the midfield. He seems to have certain players that he plays in certain games.
Courses, basically.
So I wouldn't be entirely surprised if he looks at the Liverpool game and brings Fred and McTominay in.
Interesting.
Matic has been brilliant, but I think you need to look at Liverpool and where they can hurt us. The facts of Mane, Salah, Firmino. It's all about pace.
Well, I think the thing for you, what he will probably try and do is he'll probably try and pressure our fullbacks, not give them any time. And then I would think if I was him, I'd try and stop passing into Thiago. And then if you do that, we that's what Southampton did. And they had great success. And Thiago didn't have any time on the ball. He couldn't understand why the ball wasn't coming to him when he had loads of space. They just did a number on us, and then we just couldn't score. But our problem at the moment is I know we've got the defenders out, but that's actually impacting the forwards. I think the service to the forwards hasn't been what it normally is, and it could be because we're defending a lot deeper because we haven't got Van Dijk and Gomez's pace. I mean, Fabinho's played absolutely outstandingly, but he's not a defender. He's a midfielder, and I can't fault him, but he naturally drops a bit deeper than Van Dijk. Van Dijk and Gomez will back themselves all day to chase him behind and defend that space. So I think for you guys, I think you might find Solskjaer might go with a workman-like midfield and basically see how it is after sort of 55, 60, break the game up into 30s or something. Do you know what I mean?
I don't want him to be too negative. I think it'd be very easy.
Negative though.
Yeah. I mean, from a United perspective, to go there thinking, let's not lose the game. I think it's a good opportunity to go to Anfield, especially, again, no crowd. So you don't have to deal with that. And the fact that Liverpool have got injuries, especially at the back, for me, I'd be looking and going, well, let's go
Let's have
there.
it.
Let's go toe to toe with them. You know,
Let's have it.
you know, man for man. And that's the reason that I think Fred probably was rested the other night.
Okay.
Fred's quite tenacious, can get round the pitch. You know, that could be the case that he's sat in there. But
it looks like we might have a kid playing at centre back.
Yeah.
Because Matip's not going to make it. He's not trained all week. And then Fabinho's the only other option. And then we've got two kids. One of them's 19. He's played 12 times for us. And then the other lad's 23, but he's only played about 5 times for us. So I think that's what you're going to be coming up against. The two different types of defenders. One's a bit sort of more graceful and elegant. One of them is just gets stuck in. So I was chatting to a lad before. I did one of these before with a Liverpool fan, and he seems to think that we'll go with the hard lad and just get stuck into you.
Well, to be honest, you would have to, because if United do play Cavani, it's the one strength of Cavani is he's your old school centre forward, like Alan Shearer, backing in, you know, winning fouls. He gives it out. He'll take it. So, I mean, if United do start in, which I think he fully deserves, maybe that could be a weakness that United would look to exploit. You know, if a young lad is going to play at centre half, you'd be like, you know, Cavani's, what is he, mid-30s?
He's
been around the block.
Wily, and he's been around, so completely see that. Give me your score prediction.
My heart will always say that United are going to win, but I'm going to go with my head on this one. I'm going to go for 1-1.
Yeah, a draw, yeah.
Yeah.
That's fair enough. Just for people watching, just give them a little indication of what you do, the Vancam for Man United fans, don't you?
Yes. I've got my own YouTube channel, which is called Man United Vancam. Funnily enough, I know it's called Man United Vancam. There is a lot of rival fans that watch it, that actually enjoy it without blowing smoke up.
It's really good crack. It's a side of you I've not seen before. Like, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like you've gone into a personality. I love it.
It's almost like when it switches, I turn into this kind of character. Obviously, doing YouTube and that, you have to be a bit more, you know, a bit more exaggerated. You have to have more of a personality. You can't just go on screen and go, you know, hello, welcome to Vancam. You know, you need to up it a little bit slightly. But no, I do. I just looked at it. A lot of people are very serious with stuff that they do on YouTube. And I looked more going down a bit of a comedy kind of route, you know, something that people can watch and enjoy. I don't think many people actually do that. And it's been all right. Don't get me wrong. I wouldn't say it was highly successful or anything. I'm still up in the morning going to a building site, so it doesn't pay the bills or anything.
But isn't it something that you've got in your life which it's like that little bit that's yours, and you can just go to that and do that different thing. Do you know what I mean?
Oh yeah. My wife does not get it at all. But I mean, there's so many people that watch it religiously. It's sort of every Friday at 7:30. I try to put it out at a set time. The same people in the comment sections every time. You feel like you know them. I've never met any of them. I know all the names. You know, they'll drop in straight away. You know, evening Kev and all this. It's a great little community, and it's good because I'm sort of controlling it. I can do what I want to do. And then the crossover is that obviously I'm back on the United stand now, which was something I was on before it could become the beast that it is now. I was on it from the start, left. I was off it for kind of 4 years. I've come back now, and you know, we've nearly got 1 million subscribers on YouTube. Amazing. So it's crazy. And that's different again because I've had to go back on. I do like the Sunday night show with Mark and that. I do the fan forum, which is straight after the game, getting to know everybody. And again, it's the viewers, you know, the first show, who's this guy? You know, it's just them getting to know your personality, and then you're kind of in there. But but no, I'm enjoying it, mate.
It's you know, where we are at the moment in life, it's a bit crap, innit? So it's just something that keeps your mental health a bit fresh, you know what I mean? Something different, something you can go and do. We're all sat in the house at the moment. It's
even what you're doing, you know, credit to you. There's an audience there for everyone. If you can tap into it, and the amount of people through Vancam, through the United stand, that drop comments in and just say, you've made lockdown bearable. You've made the last, you know, since March, it's something different to watch. You know, you put content out there. If people like it, then fair play. If they don't, they're not going to like you. You know, they'll move on to something else. But it's like you say, it keeps the mind active. It gives you something to do.
Right. Well, listen, Kev, thanks very much. I really appreciate it. It's good to see you. And I won't wish you luck for Sunday, obviously.
No, I was going to say the same, but
yeah. Well, thanks very much for coming on. Appreciate it. Cheers, mate.
cheers.
Thanks.